Glad to welcome Jason Kander from our Show Me State neighbors up in Missouri. VP, Veterans Community Project. Good to have you, Jason.
Good to be with you. Thanks so much for having me.
Let's start with the project. First off, how did you find out about doing this project in Oklahoma City?
Well, it started actually with a call from my friend Jason Dunnington, who I know you all know well here.
Yeah, he's on TV on here on weekends. He's a good guy.
Yeah, I didn't even know that at the time when he called. But he called, he said, hey, look, I love what y'all are doing up there, and I think that there's a great need for it here. We looked into it, and we saw, yeah, there is a veterans homelessness issue here, like there is in a lot of major population centers in the United States, and that's what we do. We tackle veterans homelessness, and we go after the veteran suicide epidemic, and we do it very effectively. So we're looking at, in fact, Oklahoma City will be the 5th city that we've expanded to.
At Dunnington, first he brings the movie industry to Oklahoma, and now your project. There's a veterans homelessness issue. You're addressing that. How does it work?
So the way we do it is we raise villages of tiny houses for anybody who has raised their right hand for the country. So, you know, if you've served in the military, it doesn't really matter how long you served or in what nature you served, what your discharge status is, anything like that. So unlike, say, the VA system where they have a lot of qualifiers, we don't have those qualifiers. We have a very low barrier to entry. We can bring you into our program either on the outreach side, which is for any veteran, to help you with any service that you might need, or on the residential side, which is what we're better known for, which is for the homeless veterans or like housing unstable veterans, folks who are couch surfing, just have an unstable situation. And we can put them into our village, and then we have wraparound case management services. We have about an 85% rate of moving people from homelessness into permanent housing.
I want to get on other issues with veterans, but how bad is our homelessness issue with veterans compared to other cities?
Well, it's actually about where you would expect for a city of this size. I mean, the last point in time count, which is just where they go out and count how many homeless people there are, and then also ask them things like, are you a veteran, showed about 150 homeless veterans in the Oklahoma City area. Now, the truth is it's probably more than that, because that's going to count, one, the people who you can get on like one day in January, and two, it's only going to count the folks who are eligible for VA services, which is a more narrow definition of a veteran than we have. So you can usually add 20 to 30% to that number.
All right, you're an Iraq veteran.
Afghanistan, yeah.
Afghanistan. You understand that theater, and also the things have come out of veterans who were in that theater. Suicide is a big problem. You're addressing that. How bad is it? What can we do to help?
Yeah, so it's a huge problem. A lot of people are familiar with the statistic that on average every day in the United States 22 veterans take their lives. What fewer people are aware of is that on average 16 of those 22 are not connected to any kind of veteran-specific services at the time that that happens. And that's really important because, you know, for veterans to ask for help, it's a big deal. And if they ask for help once and the system doesn't respond to them, well, there's a good chance they may not come back a second time. So what we do by having a very low barrier to entry with our outreach operation is when people come to us, we can start lining them up with services in the community right away. We can be that hub. And so that's really how it makes a huge impact. I can speak personally to it. You know, I actually was running for mayor of Kansas City, and I'm the former Secretary of State of Missouri. I was the odds-on favorite to be the next mayor a few years ago, and I toured Veterans Community Project and was completely knocked out by the operation, just really impressed. But I had been dealing with untreated, undiagnosed post-traumatic stress disorder for about 10 years at that time, and 6 weeks after my tour of VCP, it all kind of came to a head for me. I decided to drop out of public life. I was going to go to the VA to get help, but the VA was telling me it's going to be 5-6 months before we can get started with you, and I called VCP. A week later, VCP had expedited my paperwork through the outreach operation, and I had my first appointment at the VA. That's how I got involved with the organization. So we're excited to do this here in Oklahoma City in the near future. Folks can support us at vcp.org, and we really appreciate it.
All right, there's that website right there. Jason Kander, thanks for what you did. Thanks for what you've done. Thanks for what you're doing.
Thank you for having me.
It's good to see you.
Thank you.
See this again at news9.com/YourVoteCounts, and follow me on Twitter @MitchellTalks.